You guys feel like we should get started tonight?
Hell yeah.
Let's get started tonight.
Yeah.
Meow. So we are playing Library Cats, and with Library Cats, we should probably talk a little bit about the game itself. It is a super simple game. It uses just a couple of d6s. Usually you're only rolling 1d6, maybe 2, sometimes 3. There is an opportunity tonight, though, for our particular stream, that our players could be rolling more than that through the use of bits. You guys watching at home can join in the fun and help our players be the best cat versions of themselves and give them some magical cat treats, which they can use those magical cat treats for additional dice on their rolls. Since we are kind of just getting started with this is kind of one of those very low prep, simple types of games. We're gonna go ahead and make up our cats now for everyone to participate with. So in order to do that, players, if you could please pull up your cat character sheets, as it were. I would like to kind of go through this with you a little bit. There are a few things that you need to know for creating your cat. The aspects, many of the aspects of the game are specifically for role-playing opportunity. Things like your personality, which can be any of the things that are on the various lists that you see on your character sheet. And for all of you viewers at home, you should grab a copy of the PDF if you can and follow along with us, because this is, in fact, pretty fun. If you want a personality trait or a spell or a specialty or breed or accessory or anything like that is not on one of these lists, I'm perfectly happy for you guys to pick that sort of thing. Just let me know. So there are 5 basic things that you have to pick to create your cat: your personality, your spell, your specialty, your cat breed, and 1 or more, if you're interested in more, accessories. And before we get to the other choices that you might have to make, Kay, I think you had said that you already had an idea for a few things that you wanted to do for your cat. So why don't you go ahead and kick us off and tell us, if you've chosen them already, what your personality and your cat breed is.
Yeah, well, I want to hear about Ava's inspiration first, actually. Because that might inform my choices. This is,
okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I'm fine with that.
Yes,
Pass
of course,
it on.
of course.
Ava, what's your inspiration for your feline that you're playing tonight?
Well, my inspiration is my favoriteest cat, my favorite being my head empty queen, precious Mimi, my partner's cat. I miss her so much. She's all the way in Canada. It breaks my heart every single day. But she tends to be a bit lazy, more on the chill side of lazy, very mellow, but still a little bit lazy nonetheless. Like I said before, very head empty, so she'll stare off. And she seems to be looking at something, but not actually. It's hard to really tell what she's really focusing on. And she's known to just purr all the time. You'll be sleeping, and then you'll wake up to just vibrating purrs, and it's just so therapeutic and so wholesome, until you realize that her full weight is on you, either on your hip or on your arm when you're laying on your side, or on your chest, and then you're dying. She is a impenetrable force, which is why her specialty is defense. She's a tabby,
great.
And I wear glasses, so she's going to be having glasses today.
Beautiful. I love it. I love all of that. It is also worth mentioning that we've already gotten some bit donations from Varl Gem, so everybody is starting right off the bat with some cat treats, which is amazing. So then you have picked then your cat breed and your specialty and one of your accessories, if you're only taking one. What personality did you pick for?
I did go with lazy for her.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And your spell?
Purring.
Brilliant. Love it. Did you want more than one accessory, or are you good with just the glass?
I'm just good with that one. It's fine.
And did you already name your cat? Are you naming it Mimi?
Yes, it's Precious Mimi. That's Precious the full title.
And is that M-I-M-I or M-E-M-E?
M-I-M-I.
She, her? Okay, Kay. Did that help you figure out your kitty cat then?
That's perfect. I have like the literal opposite. So I am going to go with Twiggy. She is an orange kitty. She is long and lithe. She's spunky. That is the personality that I went for. She is very quick to thwack things. So I gave her thwacking and offense as her to the ability and the skill or whatever.
Spell and specialty.
Yeah, spell and specialty. I was going to go with a pair of tiny wings, very much like the caterpillar from A Bug's Life, if you've seen that movie. And, perfect. So they're not very good. And then the attribute. My attribute is 2, so I'm way more catty than I am librarian-y.
Oh, we'll get to that in a minute.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yeah. Brilliant. So now I have a question for you. Your tiny wings, is that an actual accessory, or do you actually have tiny wings?
I think I actually have tiny wings.
Love it.
Should I have an accessory as something I'm wearing?
I mean, you could. It's up to you.
Maybe I have little booties on my front paws only.
Okay, that raises so many questions, but I'm not gonna. That's fine.
Incredible.
Maybe I'll pause and then I pick things up like in My Little Pony. Somehow they have things just attached to their hooves. So.
Brilliant. I love it. Okay, Deb.
Are you ready?
Yeah, hit it.
My cat is Empress Francesca Fluffy Bottom Isabella Esmeralda, but you can call her Effie for short.
E-F-F-I-E or Y?
Yes.
Okay.
I-E. She's snooty because she's a show cat. So she is a white Persian with the most gorgeous groomed to the nines that you've ever seen. Her spell is yelling because she wants everyone in line, and when people don't fall in line, she yells at them. And so her specialty is control, because she likes to control things and she is good at it. For her accessory, she has a tiny little blue Grand Champion ribbon that she won, and just a tiny little matching bow between her ears.
Off the side.
Yeah, yeah,
right. Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
Amazing. I love all of that. I did get those names put into the overlay. Hopefully they start showing in just a couple of minutes. That is awesome. I love all of that. So let's go ahead and get up to your number. So everyone has a special number that they choose. You can technically roll it or you can pick it. This attribute number is basically a determining factor of what you are better at. So for example, if you have a high number, it means you are better at doing librarian things. If you have a low number, it means that you are better doing cat stuff. Now, it is important to remember that the reason that this is this way is because when you roll a d6, you compare it to that number. And if the thing that you were trying to do was a cat stuff thing, then you want to roll high because you want to roll over your number. And so, like, for example, if your magical number was a 2, it means that you're really good at doing cat stuff, because the only time that you fail cat stuff is when you roll a 1. And so exact opposite for librarian stuff, you want a high number because you want to roll low on your die if you're doing something that is librarian related. And sometimes librarian stuff can be something as mundane as investigating books or trying to explain something or trying to learn something. And so you want to be able to roll low. And so if you want to be good at librarian things, then you want to obviously have a higher number. It is important to remember, though, that when you roll exactly your number on one of your d6, you not only get a success to what it is that you were trying to do, but it is a special success that makes you a fancy cat. As a fancy cat, you do succeed at what you're doing, and you get to ask me a question about whatever circumstances are going on in the game that I might be able to answer for you openly and honestly to help in the current circumstances of your game. And so getting a fancy cat is an awesome thing. It's just like getting a critical success in other games, etc., etc. Now, it is important to remember that your number has to be between 2 and 5. And so when you pick your number, it is impossible for you to be equally good at both things. Even if you pick a 4 or you pick a 3, it means that you're just slightly better at doing whatever opposite thing that you were picking for. So, Kay already has chosen their number. What did you pick for Twiggy? Twiggy is a 2, so Twiggy is really good at doing cat stuff then. Oh, and I should also mention that cat stuff and librarian stuff can both be used for different kinds of magic. It's important to remember that you guys are magical cats in a magical library, and so you do know and understand spells and magic. And this is one of those games where we very much encourage you to be imaginative in how you're doing a spell, perhaps, or what you are doing to empower yourself or channeling that magic. So, Twiggy is very good at cat stuff. What about Mimi? What's Mimi's magic?
I rolled exactly a 5.
Okay, so Mimi is really, really good at library stuff. And Deb, where's Effie?
Effie is going to be a 4, and okay, it's going to annoy her when Precious Mimi is better at library stuff, and it's also going to annoy her when she's good at cat stuff because she likes the library part.
Love it. Another cool and interesting thing that has never happened before in library cats, as long as I've been playing it, is no one picked a specialty of healing. For the first time ever.
It hurts my heart.
We don't have a healer cat. Now, that doesn't mean you can't try to heal in some magical way. It just means that none of you picked that specialty. And so let's talk about specialties and spells real quick, because that is how you basically determine the number of dice that you roll. You always roll 1 die, no matter what it is that you're doing. If you're doing an action where you can make an argument that you're utilizing your spell, then you get another die. And if you can also make an argument that your specialty applies, you can get another die. So the most die that you can roll normally in this game is 3. Most of the time you're only rolling 1 or 2. Occasionally you can end up rolling all 3. We have the added benefit of being on stream, and so we've got some bits and some donations that are already happening for you to get your magical cat treats and be able to add an additional die, but it is important to remember that you need to declare that before you roll, not after. So keep that in mind. Everybody good? Everybody have a sense of their special magical kitties here? Awesome. So I'm going to read a little bit about where our adventure is taking place tonight, and then I'm going to ask you guys a few questions. So let us begin with this. The Salaxian Institute has stood for centuries as one of Ystera's most prominent places of learning, prophecy, and scholarship. Its towers gleam with stained glass that seems to catch the very light of the stars, and its spires reach to the sky like a series of quills defying the wind. Scholars, dreamers, and seekers come from across the world to study here, guided by the hope that the right book or the right insight might change the course of all things. At the Institute's core lies Catamore Library, an endless wing of shelves, stairwells, and reading halls. Its collection is vast enough to chart the histories of lost kingdoms, map the heavens across ages, and whisper truths of magic older than the stars themselves. Tomes shift on their own, scrolls murmur with half-forgotten languages, and lantern light burns bright enough, though no flames are ever lit. Some say that the library is alive, breathing through its bell towers and dreaming in the rhythm of rustling pages. But the Institute's greatest guardians are not cloaked librarians nor wizened professors. They are the cats of Catamore. Not pets, mind you, not ornaments, not accidents of circumstance, but rather feline wardens whose paws trace secret paths across beams, rafters, and crawlways invisible to most other prying eyes. They are both watchful sentinel, playful trickster, their duty to the library and those that come to learn unwavering. They chase off mischief, stalk threats unseen, and unravel mysteries that would confound scholars of perhaps lesser strength of will. To be a cat of Catamore is to be the first to sense what should not be, the first to slip between danger and discovery. To walk the library is to walk in their company, though you may never hear their steps nor catch their gaze. Yet when the hour turns strange, and the shelves groan with secrets, it is their whiskers that twitch, their eyes that gleam, their paws that carry the weight, keeping the library whole and safe. So I ask you, my feline friends, we need to determine 2 positive traits and 1 negative trait about our special library here at Catamore. I'll go ahead and start with you, Ava. Would you like to pick a positive trait, or would you like to pick the negative trait? You can see that there is a list on your character sheet there of options, but do not constrain yourself to that list. No, you should absolutely decide for yourself what that might be.
I think I'm gonna go with a negative.
Okay.
And I think it is going to be negative number 4. A harmless ghost constantly tries to distract the librarians.
Nice. I'm going to ask you to kind of expand on this a little bit. Who was this ghost before they passed?
I think it is, or was, the local cat lady. Not malicious.
Sure.
Not cruel, very kind. She welcomed people to pet the cats that lived on her lawn and in her home, and she helped adopt them out. But she just always had so many cats. And so when she passed, she wanted her remains to be scattered in the library. So she's now just chilling in the library.
Has many a story to tell, I am sure. Deb, you need to pick a positive trait.
Okay, I think that there is a corner of the library that has an ornate mirror in it, and the mirror dispenses mostly helpful advice once a day.
And the rest of the time it gives not helpful advice?
It just like gives common sense stuff that you're like, yeah, I already know this. I don't, you know.
I love that.
But it's good to get validation.
And who created this mirror? Do we even know who created this mirror or what its origins are?
There are some whispers that it was created by one of the Ascendant and sort of appeared one day in the library, but more likely it was just some arcane-based artificer who just, was tinkering and was like, well, this is something, I guess.
Love it. All right, and Kay, what is our other puzzle?
Yeah, so I think that this part of the library has been it's very old. It initially was going to be just like a very sparse little wing, lots of windows. It was going to be a great place to read, but over the years, more and more bookshelves have gone up. Books have been piling up more and more. Most of the windows have been just completely covered in books, but that leaves the nicest sunbeams for the parts of the windows that are showing, that are in perfect places for lying down. The place is always nice and warm, and there's something else I wanted to say, but I can't remember. I got too excited about the sunbeams.
Great. And so I'm curious, with these windows that seem to always be able to kind of channel the light into perfect sunbeams for anyone, but let's be honest, mostly the cats, to enjoy, is there a magical quality about it? Like perhaps does it happen even at night? Like, for whatever reason, even the moonlight gets channeled into these brilliant beams of warming light, or is this just a brilliant feat of engineering?
Ooh, magic is just science that we haven't figured out yet, and then science is magic we have figured out. Chicken and the egg. I think that, well, you still look outside. I think it's something about the panes of glass. I don't know if there's an enchantment put on them, or that just the way that they are just faceted very subtly. But like it channels the moonlight, so you could still look outside and it would be dark out or whatever. But yeah, as the moonlight beams through, it's just as warm as it would be during the day. And the other quality I remember is just that it's very beautiful. It's beautiful and it's comfortable, and for everyone to enjoy.
It's great. I love it. I am actually going to add another positive trait here for us. I'm going to pick one. There is a magical slime, a blob-like creature, somewhat cube-shaped, but maybe a little curved at the edges due to perhaps age. No one knows exactly where this magical slime came from, but they're responsible for, of course, cleaning up the library in all of the various corners, particularly the feline passageways that exist throughout the library require lots of tending to and care because of the amount of hair that accumulates in those spaces. And so this particular magical slime that is on custodial duty, we will call it, here in the Catamore Library, is well known by everyone and liked by most. But Ava, I'm going to ask you to name this particular magical custodian of the library.
Shoot, I'm horrible at coming up with names on the spot.
You can popcorn it to somebody else if you want to, or somebody else can chime in. Kay, do you have a name for this magical slime custodian?
I want to name it what we did last time, but I can't remember what that was. So this one,
we had this. This is a common one. This pops up in most. I don't remember if we did it in the last game that you were in.
Maybe.
And yes, Raven, it is absolutely a magical Roomba.
I'm going to call it Rover.
Rover,
the ooze.
How sentient is this slime?
Tell me.
I think it probably understands basic commands, but Effie tries to give it more complex tasks and it doesn't do it, and she's constantly like, can't even do one thing right.
Fantastic listener, though.
I love that.
Not so good to taste, though.
Yeah,
want 'em all.
probably not.
Yeah, the litter's in there, so of course not.
So, with those positive and negative traits declared, and I've already set the scene, so to speak, of where our magical cats call home at the moment, there's a couple of things that I would like for you guys to now declare for me. The first of which is, how old is your cat? And you don't have to be specific in years or anything like that, but more, are they young? Are they on the older side? Or are they decently experienced of the world or not? And along with that, were you born here at Catamore? Or did you come to Catamore at some time in your life?
I'll go. Effie is on the older side of the prime of her life. She is mostly retired from being a show cat. And I think the sort of show cat circuit is how she made her way to the library. It was sort of a a prize that she won, and was like, hell yeah, this place is great, and I can kind of march around here and keep things in order. And she likes it, so she decided to stay.
Starting to get the sense that Effie is more of a commanding sort.
Just a little bit.
What?
Likes to maybe boss people around somewhat.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, actually, because it kind of came up, or I feel like based on the conversation that's happening, we should also clarify, it is intended that your cats can speak to people and, you're fully understood in general. However, I've done this in other games, that is a decision that you all can make, whether or not you want your cats to be understood, at least in their communication, by the general populace or not. It's up to you guys, really. You guys can kind of mull that over a little bit. Does anybody else have an answer for the questions that I presented?
In the brief moment, I tried to ask my partner, how old is actual Mimi? And he's like, I don't remember. And so we're going to take that answer and say she gives middle-ish age energy, but she's actually ageless. She used to wander with a spirit of karmatic justice, and typically as someone to help calm her whenever she gets too frustrated with how horrible humanity is. But after a point, she realized she needs to do better with her job. I think Mimi decided, I need to be amongst people to get more of a vibe to help you do your job. And then eventually she forgot that her job was to calm this entity down. But every now and then the entity visits her, but yeah, she's ageless with middle age energy.
Love it.
Twiggy, I think, is about like 3 or 4, so can still often act like a very young cat. I think she grew up in the library, or like on the grounds of the institute, but maybe not necessarily always in the library. I think she can talk to people. I think she often does not. I think she just kind of like, she'll take whatever, orders or whatever that the human librarians or the dwarven librarians or whomever might give her, and she'll just walk away and then maybe do it, maybe not do it. Who knows? But
excellent. I love that. And so, just so you know, you are not the only cats that guard the library. There are many in your clowder of cats, and that number kind of fluctuates periodically depending upon new cat arrivals and other cats retiring and such. And so there are many different spots hidden away within the various walls and rooms of the library where your cats can rest for a little bit and gather and perhaps enjoy whatever food or drink that they most enjoy for themselves, all magically summoned, of course, at the needs of these feline guardians. And so today, our fine trio of kitty cats is coming off of a very hard day of work, perhaps, and finding their way to one of these little resting spots where their particular trio likes to commonly consort with one another. I'm curious, what events of the day were your cats in particular up to? Perhaps only just finishing, or maybe, was a highlight of your particular day. What is it that your cat was doing today, or what significant little event did they have to deal with on today's adventures of guarding this great library? Does anyone have an idea of where to begin?
I think Effie was doing some training for a couple of new cat guardians on how to sort books, and the sorting process in this particular library is very complex, and so they don't tend to get it right very quickly. And so she's just been wanting to pull out her fur because she's been annoyed with them for not getting it instantaneously. She also has been checking in on some of the students who come and research here, and is trying to be helpful, but also is like, they don't even know what they're doing. And so she'll go pull a book for them or whatever. And so she's been sort of running around with newbies all day and is glad for a break.
So she's coming to the little clowder rest with perhaps a bit of frustration then, after today's event.
Yes.
And Ava, do you have an idea on what Mimi was up to today?
I think every now and then there is a very rare and delicate book that someone needs and they have to order in advance. So her job today was to find a book and sit on it until the person who reserved the book comes to pick it up, because sometimes it's like Black Friday shopping and people will try to get the book itself. And one of the things that she's best at doing is just sitting and not moving whatsoever. So people will try to pick her up, move her around. She's not moving whatsoever until the actual person gets there. She'll be very stalwart in her protection.
I love that. That's amazing. And what was Twiggy up to today, Kay?
So Twiggy was spending the day between taking naps in the sunbeams, of which I detailed earlier, and also chasing moths. But then at one point, a small a small cloud of little fairies, like the little shitty asshole kind, was let loose on the library. So instead of chasing moths, she was chasing little fairies and trying to capture them to put them all back in a little box. It was very annoying. There's a lot of cleanup, so that ooze has a lot of work to do.
I think that's a brilliant way to begin our little role-playing moment here, as all three of you, more or less at around the same time, have found yourselves in your little clowder rest place. And I think Twiggy might be the last to arrive. And so Mimi and Effie are perhaps already there partaking. What are they eating and or drinking as Twiggy comes walking into the room?
Whatever the Asterian equivalent of Fancy Feast is.
It's
out of like a little goblet.
A crystal goblet. That's what I was just going to say. She has a little crystal goblet.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love that.
I guess kind of in response to that, I know that they have cat wine, so I guess she's drinking cat wine.
Okay.
Me.
So Mimi's got her little saucer of wine. Effie has her crystal goblet of Fancy Feast, and Twiggy comes padding into the room. Take it away, Kay.
I shake off a lot of the little fairy dust off of myself, and then
That's going to take forever to get out.
Yeah, there's going to be glitter in my fur for weeks. And then I'm going to manifest a cat yogurt tube, like the little churro or something. And I'm going to slide it back into my mouth, and then slam it down on the table, and then manifest the second one. I'm going to start sipping that one.
So you chugged one tube, and now you're just slowly licking the second. Got it.
Yeah, I had a day. How are you?
You had a day. Has it been a day for all of us?
I think today was lovely.
Well, that's good, I guess. What is this? What are you tracking in here, Twiggy? What?
Fairies again. I don't know why those kids keep bringing them in here, but
I know. Because they're so lovely.
You can collect them next time.
Okay.
It does make your fur sparkle quite nicely, though. I think, you do well in a show or a competition. I think you'd look very nice.
You don't have to lie to me. Shake it a little bit more.
I don't think she's lying, and I know I'm not lying. I don't know if I know how to lie. What? No, I don't know how to lie.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, do you have plans for tonight, y'all?
I was hoping to finish reorganizing some of the books that the students took out, but I think that will have to be left for tomorrow. These new cats, they have no idea what they're doing, and so I've had too much today, and so someone else can take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sit in an inconvenient spot. Or there's some dragon eggs that need to be sat on. I guess I'll sit on those. I don't know. Something.
Somewhere cozy.
I was laying sunbeams and things other than the fairies. I might go check out that pond with the fish. I'm a big craving it.
Like I said, a chill day.
Okay. Please make... This is an awareness check, which is usually cat stuff. And I think in this case it will still be cat stuff. So go ahead and make an awareness check for me, a cat stuff awareness check.
How can I apply thwacking things to awareness? In
this particular case, probably not.
Well, considering I just chugged a cat treat, I'm gonna use my cat treat that was bitted to us earlier. If that's
Great.
Cool.
One cat treat down. So you get two dice then, and you're trying to. It's cat stuff, right? So you want to get over your number. You want to roll high, or roll exactly a 2.
Yeah, one or the other. That is a 1 and a 2.
A 1 and a 2. Brilliant.
Yes, I could have failed. Glad I rolled 2.
So you did only get 1 success, but that 1 success is a fancy cat success, which is great. And so as a fancy cat, you will succeed at this task, and then you get to ask me a question after I tell you the results of your success here. And so I think it's at that moment that Twiggy more or less finishes the second tube and starts to roll it up and make sure that they get every little bit out, and then tosses it to the side. And as Twiggy tosses it to the side, they toss it exactly where hey monster they toss it exactly where the first tube wrapper went, which has not been cleaned up yet. And they toss it over there, and Twiggy notices that the first tube is not only full, but it's unopened. Now you got a fancy cat, so you can ask me a question if you would like.
Is it my same tube, or is it a new tube?
At first, Twiggy thinks, "Oh, that must be a new tube. Like perhaps they the whatever magic is behind the creation of these tubes. Perhaps the magic was thinking that you wanted a third tube. And then you realize it's the exact same tube. You have a good nose for these sorts of things, and not only does the situation smell weird, but that tube smells exactly like it did when you consumed it minutes earlier."
I ate what? How many of these have I had? I think I'm losing track of.
I think 3.
Oh.
3.
This is the 4th?
2.
Okay. I'm gonna eat it anyway. Anyone want some?
Oh no, I'm fine.
Are you sure that you?
I thought I ate this one, but maybe the magic just thought could read my mind, could tell I wanted another one. It's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna crack this one open.
As soon as you taste the tube, you get a shiver down your spine of deja vu. Like you start to chug it down and then stop yourself because you get that weird feeling of deja vu.
You know what? I'm not hungry. Actually, I'm good now.
Are you? Oh, you're not gonna finish
You're
it?
always hungry.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm feeling really confused now. Maybe I should go for a little walk. Maybe I'm too tired now. I was chasing all those fairies. Yeah.
I want to walk over and take just a little dainty lick of the tube that Twiggy put down.
Okay. Tastes fresh.
Are you sure you're okay? It tastes fine, and I don't.
I think I'm just tired, and maybe this dust, and I keep trying to take the fairy dust off of myself. Maybe it just, I don't know.
Did you accidentally snort some of it while you were cleaning it?
Almost definitely. I was sneezing before I got here.
I'm gonna saunter over to Twiggy and just put a paw on their forehead like a bap. Do they feel warm? Warmer than I guess a cat would.
Oh, that's a great test. Let's go ahead and have you roll a librarian check.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think either your specialty or your spell can apply, so I think you're only rolling one die unless you want to use one of your cat treats.
Nah, I'm good. I rolled a 5 and a 3.
Well, you should have only rolled one die.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Let's do that again.
And you're trying to get lower than your number. You want to roll low because this is a library stuff check.
All right, that's a 3 then.
Okay, so that is a success. Twiggy seems fine. The fairy dust is, of course, covering Twiggy pretty hard, but any amount that they would have ingested by this point shouldn't be causing any weird anomalies. You probably wouldn't recommend that Twiggy bathe themselves anymore. They probably actually need a proper bathing, like a grooming, as opposed to, doing it themselves.
I think that you should walk through the slime and get clean that way.
I wouldn't That's
Why not? That's his job, to clean.
there are better ways.
You don't want glitter on your tongue.
Well, I don't think that you bathing yourself is probably the best course of action, but the slime. Oh, but then you're gonna be all oozy and But then you get into the lake and then everything's fine. Well, you could do that, or I know this librarian who is particularly fond of us cats and is quite good at grooming, and so you can go see her as well.
Are they a cat?
More fun?
No, it's a human.
Oh, what's more fun?
It feels really wonderful.
Be like a car wash, but with slime.
I'm feeling the slime. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Empress. But
I love the bowing of the head as you said that.
Perhaps I should go with you just in case things go poorly.
I'll go because it's funny.
Okay. So you guys head off in search of Rover, the slime. Sounds great. So you leave behind your little room. You start navigating through the various crawlways of Catamore that predominantly cats, exclusively use. And so this is going to be a tracking test to see if you guys can track down your friend Rover. Because Rover generally doesn't have a pattern to how they navigate. It's really based on where things are most dirty. I feel like this is going to be a cat stuff check. And so all three of you can go ahead and roll for this. It is cat stuff, so you want to roll high. Don't think any of you picked any like hunting or anything like that.
Can I yell for Rover?
You absolutely can yell for Rover. You absolutely can yell for Rover. You can add yelling, an extra die for yelling. Everybody else is only rolling one die, though. So this is cat
6.
stuff. You want to roll higher than your number. Ava, what'd you get?
6.
Okay, and Kay, you got higher than yours too, I think, because you have a 2, right? Deb,
yes,
how'd you do?
That was the wrong button.
I rolled a 5 and a 3, so either side of my number.
Okay, so 1 success, which is good enough. So the three of you working together are able to track down Rover. Since this was Mimi's idea, Ava, what is Rover where is Rover at in the library right now, and what is Rover cleaning up?
I think they're in the experiments section of the library. So they're cleaning up after some of the experiments that the students did not fully clean up after.
Okay, love it. As they are kind of moving around this laboratory teaching kind of space, and you can see that they have a distinct path that they are following, because there's a small amount of residue that they leave behind wherever they go, and that residue tends to kind of evaporate on its own after about 15 or 20 minutes. And as you are kind of looking around the room and seeing where Rover has been in the past 15 or 20 minutes, you see about halfway through the trail, between where Rover is at now and where it has mostly evaporated, about that halfway mark, you notice that there's like this brilliant spot where there is no residue from Rover, and there's this like small mound of perhaps someone had a hairball, maybe. It's a little mound of gross, icky stuff that is just like sitting there, and it's like a perfect circle around it that the residue from Rover the slime has left behind. All of you can see this pretty clearly. Rover is continuing on their task as expected.
Rover, you've missed this pile. You've one job.
Rover, I don't think, responds. But that's not abnormal. Rover tends to only really respond when you, like, command them to do something. And so, I mean, Effie could attempt to do some magic and command Rover to go back and do the spot.
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So we'll call this a magic test. This is librarian related, and so you want to roll low. You have control as your specialty, I think you said. So you can absolutely use that for your specialty. And I honestly could see an argument that your yelling applies.
Excellent.
So go ahead and roll 3 dice.
6, a 5, and a 1.
Okay. So you got a 1, which is enough, right? Because your magic number's 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got 1 success. And so as you are trying to enact the commanding magic to get Rover to actually listen, you see Rover stop. And then Rover doesn't have a face, by the way. Rover's just a blob. But does seem to like rotate. Like the ooze kind of splurches as it turns around. And then it starts going back along its same trail in the direction of the spot. And it's at that point that you notice that the spot is literally in the middle of a pile of residue. Just with a little perfect circle cut out around it. Which means that Rover moved over top of that spot already. It is now on their way back to clean it up.
Wait. This is strange. I think Effie will pad over and extend just like one little claw and kind of poke at this pile of whatever it is.
No!
So Rover like gets up to the spot and you stop Rover, and Rover stops, and you reach out your one little claw and you tap at it. And I need for you to now roll cat stuff check, and this is in response to magic that seems like it could be harmful. So
I rolled a 1.
Amazing. So Ava and Kay, Twiggy and Mimi are able to see very clearly as Effie is reaching out to touch this gross, icky hairball, which, by the way, is like black and gray furred, and just covered in ick. And as soon as Effie's claw tip just barely touches it, a shockwave of magic ripples off of this and sends Effie flying across the room. Effie crashes into someone's experimental workstation. Deb, what experiment was going on there? Alchemy or artifice, or you name it. You tell me. What did Effie crash into and ruin for an experiment?
I think it was like a transmutation kind of thing where the students were like changing little like buttons into, I don't know, something. They were trying to turn them into turning like the buttons into like the ends of a spool of thread. So it was a fairly simple experiment, but
Sure.
They were so kind of basic stuff, but there are now like buttons everywhere, and she has crashed into some bottles and jars and things as well. from the nearby experiments too. So she's just like covered in thread, and buttons are everywhere, and she's upset now. There's a mess all over the place.
Yes, as she like slams into this and sends glass and buttons flying, she quickly is back up on all four paws, right? She didn't land on all four paws because she crashed into something, but she's quickly back up on all four paws. And as she stands up, I feel like Twiggy is going to notice this. Ava, I'll let you decide whether or not this is something that Mimi would notice, but I'm fairly certain Twiggy would notice. Effie's tail is now basically made of yarn. Effie doesn't notice this yet.
It's moving as yarn does, and so I'm gonna thwack it, unfortunately.
Ow! Ow! What?
Meanwhile, I'm also going over being like, oh no, and just baps you on the forehead. Do you feel warm?
What? What is happening?
Okay.
Well, apart from this mess that what? And I'll like turn around and bat Twiggy like, what? Stop! What are you doing?
Look at your tail.
Oh.
I like turn around and then do some like circles.
As you do some circles, at some point you will actually stop and realize that that is your tail. At first you thought maybe it was just like a string had gotten tied around your tail, and now you realize it is your entire tail. All the way up to your tailbone is now just seemingly made of yarn.
My tail. My beautiful tail. It was like its own cat. Like, this was a glorious tail. It was so fluffy and so full that she kind of had she had named it Charles, because it was like its own entity. And so she's like, Charles, my tail.
Your tail's still so pretty. It's just yarn now. It's okay.
I don't want a yarn tail.
I mean, weird things happen to people and to cats all the time, and you just gotta roll with the punches. Maybe it will change back, or maybe not. But that's about adapting, and that's what we do in life.
Is the hairball pile on the floor still there?
Oh no, as soon as you got blasted away, Rover just like roved over it and has cleaned it up, and it's gone. It's clean.
What happened? Why? Did you see what happened?
You touched the gunk and then you flew back, and then your tail became way more fun. I'm sorry, it's not as poofy as it was. But...
For what it's worth, just to clarify here, it is still extremely poofy and large. Like, this is literally like an entire spool of yarn hanging off of Effie's backside, right?
It's like that thick crochet yarn.
Right, exactly. It's just not a normal cattail.
There. It's gonna be okay.
How do we fix it?
I guess we gotta go see that human. Maybe they can help me with this. We can help you with that.
Well, are you still gonna try to have Rover clean you?
Would that make this worth it for you?
For me, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go like dart in front of Rover, darting in front of a human's legs.
Okay, so I feel like I need to leave this up to you now, Kay, because I don't want to make this decision. I had always envisioned Rover as like an acid slime. Is Rover safe for cleaning cats?
So you just
I
become the skeletal cat.
for the sake of the game, I want to say yes, it's fine, but I don't think Twiggy has ever done this before. Twiggy has always wanted to do this, so now they've been given the chance. She, if she starts, I'll cinch some of her furs and then she'll run off. But, I was thinking this is the ooze that eats everything, and yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go somewhere in between here. We're gonna say that Twiggy starts with a paw, right? Like extends a paw, and Rover stops because Rover is like meant to like not cause harm to things, and so Rover doesn't go over like living things. Rover only goes for the things that Rover is supposed to be cleaning up. And so Rover sits there unmoving as basically Twiggy pushes their paw into Rover. Go ahead and roll a cat stuff check for me.
Okay.
And let's see what happens as Twiggy pulls their paw out.
Does this include thwacking and offense?
No.
Dang.
Nice try, though.
Figured it was worth a shot. Okay. That's a 2.
Oh, is that your
Is that
that's your number, right?
Yeah.
That's a fancy cat. So
Yeah,
you get a fancy
fancy
cat.
I
And so
always forget it.
yeah,
Below.
you do
Okay.
yank your paw out, and it is perfectly clean as it comes out. The hair is a little shorter than you remember it.
Okay.
And so it makes you realize before you ask me your fancy cat question, which can be about anything, mind you, you're technically speaking, Rover could clean Twiggy if Twiggy was fast enough to get out of Rover before it started to become
Don't give me
sizzly.
that idea. I want to.
Do it.
I just know that I will not roll well. That's
If Twiggy had a specialty in zooming.
yeah. No, this is for a faster cat than me. I know my flaws, but I will suggest it to another cat in the future.
What is your fancy cat question?
My fancy cat question is what can I come back to you with my fancy cat question? Can we have a minute?
Can't bank them, but I will allow, because usually this is a group effort, if Deb or Ava, either of you have an idea or a question, it does not have to be about exactly what was just happening. It can be about, anything really. In my last game, I had this precocious 9-year-old that was playing at my table who literally asked me about all of my cats because they couldn't think of a fancy cat question. And so they just wanted to know, wanted me to tell them about all 5 of my cats, and that for them was their fancy cat question. So it can be anything.
Is there a special holiday happening today?
Ooh, good question. Is that the question that you would like to ask, Kay?
Yeah, because the only other one I could think of when you said open to all questions, where do babies come from? So we're gonna go with
Yeah, Miko, where do babies come from?
That's the question. Yeah, that's it. I need to know.
my parents never gave me the talk. I did do sexual health theater, like informational theater, but I've never had the talk, so you should
Informational theater.
yes.
I love that.
There's through Planned Parenthood in Canada, which does not do any like medical stuff there. They're just there for other resources.
They're there for the vibes.
Yeah, for real.
So,
Sorry for the I digress.
the holiday, yes. As far as you know, today is not any special kind of holiday, at least that Catamore is practicing, but it is worth mentioning. that there are many, many, many cultures in the world, and it is entirely possible that today is a holiday for one of them. But nothing that's currently, as far as you are aware, actively being celebrated at Caterpillar. Or the Institute.
How's the slime wash?
I wish I was faster. I might try again later, but I think even though I loathe the bath, I think going to see the person that Effie mentioned might be in the cards. It gave me pause, as it were.
I told you so. And you can tell that she like gets a little bit, she starts feeling a little bit better by being able to say, I told you so.
You were right, Effie.
Well, at least it was tried, and that's what matters. Let's go.
The librarian, I know her name is Paige, and she's over this way usually. And Effie will sort of walk off with her tail just like hanging really low behind her, almost dragging on the floor.
Do the mortals always have to have names pertaining to books? Because that is very ironic.
I don't think they always have to, but I guess it had never occurred to me before.
Ah. I hope it's funny to this person.
And where is Paige right now, Effie?
She is over kind of on the farther end of the library, apart beyond the experiments and things. She doesn't get too involved with those things, but she is kind of one of the reference librarians, and so she's back in some of the stacks that are not easily accessible to your general person who walks in, but the restricted area.
Okay. As you are making your way across the library to get there, you have to use a combination of, in order to get there as fast as possible, you have to use a combination of the little cat passageways and like hallways and, other areas of the library. And as you are going through one of the cat crawlways, you like dip down into the stacks and you came through one of the cat passageway. And as you are dipping through there, there's a moment where you swear you hear two people talking to them about what they plan on having for breakfast this morning. You just hear their voices, and it's as if they are standing right next to you. It's almost like it's the echo coming off of the walls that you are hearing. And as you stop and listen to it for a second, the echo kind of just trails off. But those voices were definitely having a conversation about what they're about to have for breakfast. And for what it's worth, this is very late in the day at this point.
Am I going crazy? I think Effie's ears are back and she's sort of like hunched along the ground now. What? It's past breakfast time.
Well, maybe they're ghosts and their concept of time is different. We have ghosts here.
Yeah, Effie. No.
I mean, you guys could roll a librarian check to see if you recognize the voices.
Yeah.
I'll try. Have I thwacked this person before?
Have I sat on this person and been forward?
Have I yelled at this person?
No.
Darn.
I did not succeed. I think Effie is just too distraught that she didn't even pay attention to the quality of the voices.
Okay.
I got 5.
I got
which I
4.
don't think is-
So that is a success then for you, right, Ava? Because you're trying to roll under your thing, and you have a 5 for your magic number. So, Mimi will be able to recognize the 2 voices. They're 2 of the other cats of your clowder. You can feel free to make up whatever you would like about them. But Mimi does recognize 2 of your fellow clowder voices that were echoing off the walls just.
Oh. Gustav and Emerald Tide. Those were those 2. Usually Gustav isn't out this late. He likes to sleep.
What it's worth, you know them to be very much alive.
So it's not ghosts?
It doesn't seem like they're ghosts. They're part of our group. They're fellow cats.
Maybe they're doing a breakfast for dinner sort of thing. We could go ask them.
But what? Where are they? It's clear to Effie that they were, the voices came from somewhere that they should be able to see.
Yes. Like I said, it was like you were hearing the echo off of the walls as you were walking through the space. And then you stopped to listen, and the voices just trailed off as if the voices were continuing to walk down the hall. Or the crawlway. The cat passageway.
I think something strange is happening. We need to figure out what's going on.
Yeah. Well, is Paige our best bet? We're headed there anyway.
I think it's a start. I think Effie is holding the yarn tail subconsciously and just petting it.
Do you start standing on 2 legs as you just walk in with your tail in your...
It's like the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz.
I just had the realization, it's like, oh my gosh, you're on 2 feet. I trust any mortal named after things related to books, especially in these circumstances, so let's go see Paige.
So you continue on in search of Paige. You do find Paige in kind of, it's not her private office, but it is one of the offices that is reserved for librarians to do whatever they might need to do at any given moment. You pass by the restricted section and you see the wards across the space and all. And as you pad your way up to Paige's door, you notice that it is slightly ajar, and you kind of poke your head in, and you don't see Paige present. And this is, Effie, this is where you know Paige would absolutely normally be. And so you kind of are looking around the room, and you notice, well, let's see if you notice. Well, I'm going to have everybody roll a cat stuff check. And this is related to observation, seeing if you can observe something special about the room.
Okay. That's a 6. I crit failed.
No, this is cat stuff. You want to roll high.
Okay. Okay, 6.
Right.
I failed.
Okay. And Mimi?
I got a 4.
Okay. So Twiggy is able to notice, as Effie and Mimi are kind of looking around the room, Twiggy is able to spot something very strange. Twiggy, you see a candle burning on the desk, which isn't abnormal. However, You notice all of a sudden that it looks like one of the droplets of wax is moving up the candle.
It's not a magic candle, is
instead
it?
of down. I mean, it could be a magic candle for sure. This is a magical place.
Okay. I'm gonna point my little paw at it, and Effie, Mimi, is the wax going up? Is this a magic candle? Can you tell?
And Mimi and Effie, now that Twiggy points it out, you two are both able to kind of see this candle burning backwards.
Is today opposite day?
That sounds like a great explanation to me.
Because of the breakfast, cleaning over, but not exactly cleaning over, yarn hairball thing. Wax going up instead of down. Opposite day. Shouldn't that be on the calendar? Should be on the calendar.
I think Effie has been hyperventilating a little bit and then yells, "What is happening?" And then smacks herself in the face, is like, get it together, and is like, okay, I'm fine.
Okay.
Twiggy, go thwack that candle out. I don't like it.
I will. I do.
Do you just put the flame out, or do you actually thwack the whole candle?
I'm gonna be safe. I'm gonna thwack the wick, and then
Okay.
and then I knock it over.
Okay, you
Remember the
thwack
wise
the
words of the
flame
bear.
out first, and then you whack the candle. Go ahead and roll a thwacking check for me.
Yes. Now this is my specialty. Is it also an offense?
You are definitely being offensive to this candle, so you can
Offensive.
roll 3 dice.
Okay. So that's 6, a 5, and a 1.
That's 2 successes. That's great. Yes, you are absolutely able to thwack the flame out, and then you thwack the candle. Do you do claws out?
Oh yeah.
Or so claws out, like 4 sections of the candle go flying as you basically claw it to pieces, and it goes flying across the room, and it lands there, and Twiggy, you feel very confident in yourself. Effie is able to kind of spot as Twiggy is like puffing out their chest and is standing there all prim and proud of what they have done. Effie, you notice that 2 of the pieces that landed close to each other are slowly drifting towards each other across the floor.
Oh, no, you don't. And she'll like bat one across the room.
You bat it across the room, it goes flying. The piece that you did not bat across the room starts sliding in the direction of the one that you batted across the room.
I'm gonna put my front paws on it and hold it in place.
Okay, you do that. You hold it in place. And you can feel it wanting to move underneath of your paws. And as it's doing that, there's a tingling feeling coming through the pads of your little toe beans.
Well, it wants to be back together. So should I let it go?
I think any disruption to the flow of this chaos magic, or just a natural order of the day being opposite day, I still think that it should be on the calendar. Any disruption of that could cause turmoil. I mean, look what happened with your tail. What if you messing with the natural order of things caused your tail to go like that?
Effie immediately pulls her paws off and grabs her tail.
So I think it may be that. Either someone caused magic to make it opposite day, or someone forgot to put it on the calendar.
Well, I don't really like opposite day. And I'm not sure where Paige is. She should be here.
Have you tried yelling for her like you do all the time?
No, I suppose not. And I'll walk over the door and just yell at the top of my lungs, Paige!
As you yell at the top of your lungs, you glance out, and like this particular room that you've been in doesn't have like windows and such, but it's connected to one of the significant hallways that leads into like the main portion of the library. And so as you are looking down that hallway and yelling, and your voice is echoing down the hall, you see daylight coming in from the main library that you just walked through. And it was magical, of course, because of the very elaborate windows. But it was still moonlight before, and you can see very clearly that it is now daylight. And it kind of stops your yelling mid-yell as you notice this detail.
I think it ends in a sort of strangled gulp as I notice this, and both Mimi and Twiggy notice that I have stopped yelling and I'm just trying to hold it together.
Effie?
I love that Effie is like on the verge of a full-on breakdown.
Yes.
And I got something for this. She's gonna walk over to Effie and she's gonna just like flail her body, just be on top of Effie, and she's gonna just start purring. It's okay. They're there.
Go ahead and roll a purring check for me. I feel like this is cat stuff, though, and not librarian stuff.
A 4 and a 1.
2 failures. And so, in this moment, Dev, you of course have free reign to react however you would like, but I feel like in this moment, this is not comforting Effie.
I think Effie starts to like growl a little bit, and her just the fur on the back of her neck raises, and she's just like unable to handle the supposedly soothing purrs. They feel like grating against her because she's like, everything is off and I don't understand what's happening.
It feels like a very sinking feeling as like just the weight just becomes more heavy on you. Oh, I'm sorry. Rolls off. Usually that works.
It's opposite day.
Oh my goodness, you're right.
And then at that moment, as you guys are standing in this doorway, you hear a bell. One of the bell towers goes off. It's the noon bell. And then you see, walking past the hallway in the main portion of the library, see a group of students. Twiggy, or actually, no, Effie, what class was happening earlier as you were teaching those new cats about their task? What class was going on in the library at that moment?
I think it was like an artificing class where they were creating various things, and also there were a couple of kind of comments about the various magical artifacts in this library, including the cat passageways and the mirror and some of the other pieces of the library. Just sort of a 101 intro to artificing class.
As that 101 class is walking by, you see the professor of that class leading the way and giving a speech about all of that stuff, saying, and now we're going to go and see the prophetic mirror that will sometimes tell you exactly what you need to know on any given day. And it's that phrase that stands out to you because this is kind of like a by rote speech. They've given this speech hundreds of times, right? And there was a variation that they used earlier in the day that they just used again in the exact same way as they walk past. And you remember it, even though you didn't necessarily see the entirety of that class, you remember hearing that earlier in the day. So you have this distinct deja vu moment as you see from a different angle that class walk past.
Wait. This happened earlier. We're reliving the same day. Or it's going backwards. But I've heard that speech 1,000 times, and it's always the same, but he said it differently. Earlier. Now. Then.
We're reliving the same day? I've never seen you have a yarn tail before. I don't know.
Well, I don't...
Because she
know about
disrupted
that,
the pattern.
Maybe we'll be lucky and the mirror can give us an idea of what's going on, give us some advice.
I trust that mirror.
It's better than nothing.
Will it give us bad advice if it's opposite day?
I guess we'll find out.
So you make your way to the mirror?
Yeah.
Okay. You being guardians of Catamore, and knowing this library as well as you do, are able to get to the mirror very, very quickly. You pass through the cat passageway that cuts through the restricted section, and just on the other side of that passageway is where the mirror is. And so you emerge and you see this grand mirror. Now, I'm envisioning this mirror as being like extremely long, or extremely tall, rather, and like has a very, very thick metal frame to it, and kind of rests upon the wall and kind of shifts a little bit lazily as if it's like floating against its space upon the wall. And as you approach the mirror, all of you are able to notice instantaneously, without even inquiring anything of the mirror, that the reflection that it is offering of the library is nighttime. Is what should be going on right now. But this main section of the library, you look up and you see the two suns rising high above in the noon sky, casting brilliant warm light throughout the library. You see 100 or more students all gathered around various tables or walking through the stacks. You even see a few of your fellow feline friends moving about the library and performing their daily tasks. And for the briefest moment, just out of the corner of her eye, Effie, you see yourself walking away, two small kittens in tow, disappear around one of the stacks.
What does my tail look like in the mirror?
Oh, as you look in the mirror, you're looking at your reflection and your tail?
Yeah.
It looks like yarn. But the tail that you saw
right
in your vision of seeing yourself was normal.
It's like there's an illusion that I don't understand. I just saw myself, but the mirror shows night and it's day.
I think the mirror knows the truth, that it's supposed to be nighttime.
So how do we get the nighttime back?
Oh, most prophetic mirror. Lend me your ears? Do you have ears? Doesn't matter. Tell us, how do we fix this opposite day and have it on the calendar for next time?
Has Mimi ever consulted the mirror before?
Oh, absolutely. The person that she used to hang out with really liked divination.
Brilliant. I love that. Go ahead and roll for me a library cat check. Remind me, what is your purring and what is your specialty? Defense?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Just do a 1 die then for your library cat test, unless you would like to use one of your cat treats.
Yeah, we'll use a cat treat.
I think that means that Effie is the only one with a cat treat now.
Mm-hmm. So I have to get lower than my score for this?
Yes, you want to roll low. You're rolling 2 dice.
A 2 and a 4.
Great. So 2 successes. You see the vision of the library in the reflection of the mirror kind of disappear as mist starts filling the reflection of the library, and it kind of goes gray behind, blocking any notion of what the mirror might normally reflect. You can't even see yourselves in the mirror now. And as you see that mist kind of swirling, the mirror doesn't communicate in voice. It communicates through sometimes words that appear in the fog or the mist, or sometimes images that appear. And in this particular case, you see 3 objects that appear kind of floating in space. And they're kind of almost like illustrations of objects, as if, someone drew them as opposed to a real object. And you see a pair of wings that kind of float in first. What are Twiggy's wings like? What do Twiggy's wings look like?
I'm gonna say they're tiny, tiny butterfly wings.
Okay, these are, well, there's no body on which to attach them, or on which they're attached, so you don't get a sense of scale, but they seem more like moth wings than butterfly wings. And so there's the wings, and then you see a scroll that appears, and the scroll, something is actively being written on it, but it's in reverse. It's as if it's being unwritten, right? It's like it's like watching a video of someone writing a scroll, but it's playing in reverse, right? And then the last thing is what appears to be a cat collar that kind of floats, and it appears to be made of metal, and it has a little bell on the end, and it has an identifying kind of metal piece that hangs from it, and you just see 3 letters carved on it with periods in between. T-O-M.
Thank you, almighty mirror. I will clean you and visit you later today.
It just, the fog just kind of fades, and it resumes its reflection of what is supposed to be the real reflection in the library.
Oh, yeah. Well, It seems that we have items to find. A collar with the name Tom, with periods in between the letters. Wings that look like moths, I think. Moths, yes. And a scroll being written in verse. Together, we unbreak the curse. Probably. I don't know.
Hopefully. Well, I was chasing some moths around earlier today. Now, do you think those moths will work, or does it have to be a magic moth?
You were attacking fairies earlier.
I was chasing moths and laying in sunbeams,
Yes,
and then
yes,
the fairies came.
That's right.
So.
I think those should work fine.
Right, let's chase some moths.
But I don't feel like chasing right now. But I suppose to stop this opposite day and maybe to return Effie's tail back to its glorious Empress self, then I suppose I will do so.
Thank you. Where's
As much
the
as
best
finger guns you can do with paws.
Where's the best moth hideout?
You tell me?
That's a good question. I think in one of the corners of the main part of the library that we often hang out in, I think there's like a little secret base set up. Someone has put up like a blanket. It's like a little fort, basically, a permanent little fixture. But this one is a little old and musty, so there's been some moths. They like to hang out in there and eat the fabrics. They need to change those soon. That's where I lead them. Oh no, but I was there earlier today. Well, if I see myself, will we explode?
I mean, at the very least, you may explode because we weren't there earlier today.
I just
but what
won't
confetti
touch,
you'll be!
Such pretty color.
Such
Just won't
pretty
touch
color.
any hair balls, hopefully.
Yes.
Paws
Just
crossed.
don't interact with yourself.
So you head off in search of these moths. As you are making your way, I'd like for you guys to now tell me what is something unique to each of you that you spot that the others do not, that gives you this same feeling of deja vu.
I think because she was on guard duty for the rare books, I think Mimi hears people arguing about trying to get the books through secretive or sneaky means.
I think, like while we're walking down one of the hallways or one of the, I want to call them cat tracks, I think we, or at least Twee experiences passing Gustav like 3 or 4 times in like a small span of time. It just has to go with it, like, and no one else seems to notice him, and I'm like, okay, cool.
What about Effie?
Effie glances at one of the clocks nearby, and every time she looks at it, it's a different time.
And so, as you guys are making your way across the library in search of these moths, using your cat tracks and various passageways, and seeing all of these weird things and experiencing them all in this weird sense of deja vu, how do you all interact with each other as you all come to this realization finally together that there is some kind of weird time thing happening? glitch, perhaps.
I mean, I thought that maybe opposite day was going to be fun for a bit. It's not fun. I don't want it on the calendar. I don't want it to happen again. So if you can make that not happen.
I think the mortal concept of an opposite day is supposed to be you doing things that are opposite of what you do, but having life actually do the opposite of what it's doing, I think that's bad. That shouldn't be on the calendar. But normal, like mortal people opposite day, that could be on the calendar. Maybe it is already on the calendar.
Do we have a calendar in the clowder main hall? I don't know.
Sure, why not? Do you? You tell me.
I don't. I haven't read it.
I think there is, because I think it's the only thing that helps Mimi keep track of things. It's like, today is water-based education today. Interesting.
Effie consults it meticulously. Like every day, she looks at the next couple of days ahead so that she can keep things in her head and know what's happening and yell at people for being where they're not supposed to be. I think seeing that it is affecting the other two gives Effie a little bit more of herself back, and she's like, okay, there's an explanation for this and we can fix it. We are experienced library cats and we will find out what is happening and fix the day.
Even if you just fix it for us. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm just tired now. All of this weirdness is just so sleepy inducing. So the sooner we fix this, the sooner I can nap.
Glad you have your priorities straight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so putting your focus together, only lead you got to go on is the moths. You eventually find them, and they're on, we'll call it one of the upper levels of the library. Maybe not the topmost, but one of the higher up levels for sure. And as you are making your way there, you don't pass Twiggy. You don't see Twiggy. But the closer that you get, the more it starts to feel like nighttime again. Except when you look out perhaps through one of the windows, you see the moon does not look different than what it was last night. In the same spot of the sky, has the same amount of luminescence. And you see the clouds, which there's pretty heavy cloud cover, covering it in pretty much the exact same way as it was from this time last night.
It's not the same day. Are we still going backwards?
It would appear so.
As you round a corner in search of the moths, you spot a group of moths. These moths, however, do not look like the ones that Twiggy had been chasing earlier, though. These ones, very much, the moth wings anyway, look very much like they did in the mirror, except their bodies are also somewhat translucent, glowing ever so slightly with kind of a kaleidoscope of colors, a shimmering light in the body of their little moth form. You see their little antennae out to the top of their heads, tiny, tiny sparks of magic twisting in between them. You see a group of these moths just kind of fluttering through the space, and wherever they flutter, a ripple seems to follow, and it seems to be having an effect on the space around them. Some kind of strange magical effect, where sometimes it looks normal and then other times it does not. Almost as though you were looking through some kind of changed spectrum. What you could see. Prism or thick glass misconstruing what you should be seeing.
I raise my paw and I start getting close to them, like I'm gonna hit them.
Okay. Does Effie react or want to do anything as Twiggy starts stalking forward to thwack one of the moths?
Just try to knock it out. Don't kill it. We might need them. And I think she'll turn around and like flick her tail a little bit, because presumably moths like cloth, and since her tail is now yarn, she's hoping to entice them with her tail to make it easier for Twiggy.
Okay. I feel like that's you helping Twiggy. So I'm gonna allow you to re-roll one of your dice after you roll, Twiggy. So go ahead. You're doing a thwacking test.
An offensive?
Well, here's the thing, though. You're not trying to hurt it, right? You're just trying to knock it out. So I'm going to say you get thwacking, but it would be control instead of offense based on what you're actively doing now. So you only get the 2 dice, but you do get to re-roll one of them.
Yeah, which is awesome. I got 3, which is bad, I think. I can't remember.
Well, this is cat stuff, so you want to roll high.
Okay. Oh, okay. So 3 is good.
Yes.
Right. Reroll, and I got a 4. The other one, it had been a 1. So 3 and 4.
Oh, so you re-rolled a 1 and got the 4?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So that's 2 successes. That is wonderful. You kind of stalk forward. There's a moment where you do your butt wiggle, and then Effie bolts up their tail and starts waving it around, and some of the yarn kind of falls loose at the tip of the tail, and you see one of the moths immediately turn and starts heading in Effie's direction. And as soon as it turns, Twiggy is able to pounce, and as Twiggy pounces, whacks down on top of the moth. And for what it's worth, this moth is about the size of Twiggy's head. And so as Twiggy whacks it and bats it to the ground, it seems dazed on the ground, and for a moment there, it looks like it's going to get back up and start flying, but then it stops and comes to a complete rest and stops moving, and then slowly starts to disappear. And Effie, as you are kind of looking around at the other moths, you can see that they have not reacted, but several of them have kind of shifted their over closer to where that one moth was, kind of seemingly moving into a position that allows them to cover the area better now that that one moth is out of commission, so to speak. They're trying to make up the difference, it would seem.
Should we keep catching them? They're trying to do something.
I don't know if it's good or bad, but it was fun.
Well, I could use some fun, and she'll turn around and start sneaking toward the remaining moths and try and thwack one herself.
Okay, so you want to start sneaking forward. Ava, did you hear everything that had been going on while you were away? Yeah, I thought so. What would Mimi like to do as Effie is preparing to start sneaking forward, and Twiggy looks like they're getting ready to thwack something else?
I think she will offer whenever they thwack or like pressure one of the moths to go down. Mimi will collect them into a pile and just sit on the pile.
Okay, great. Is Twiggy also going to start sneaking, or is Twiggy just going into thwack mode?
Oh, now I'm going into thwack mode. Now I'm going, like, if you're blowing bubbles for a cat, I'm going for it.
All right. Give me a sneaking test then, Effie.
I rolled a fancy cat number. I rolled a 4.
Nice. Brilliant. You are able to sneak your way around. For what it's worth, as Twiggy had kind of been moving in position to get ready to thwack that first moth, they all did kind of tilt in the direction of Twiggy in response. So they can see and they know that you guys are there. But as Effie starts to kind of find a less direct path and is taking advantage of the surrounding area of the room and maybe some of the darkness that is within the room, and kind of blends in a little bit and starts sneaking around, they don't seem to respond to Effie's movements. What question would you like to ask of me for your fancy cat question?
Who does the collar belong to from the mirror?
That is a really, really good question. You get to now explain how Effie knows, just in this moment of realization as they are sneaking through, that T.O.M stands for Temporal Operations Marshal. A long, storied group of very special cats that are rarely selected throughout history to help ensure that nothing messes with the timeline of proper events. It's like a badge, as it were.
I think because she is a show cat and is really focused on being selected, she has researched all of the different types of things that a cat can be selected for. And that was one that was pretty far out of her kind of area of expertise, and she didn't really care about that sort of work. But she suddenly remembers from all of her kind of research and her show work that this group of cats exists.
You make that realization as Effie is starting to sneak forward. I'm going to let Kay go ahead and have Twiggy do a thwacking test, and then you can decide what you want to do with that information now that you have learned it. So, Kay, you've gone full offense mode now, as you believe that these moths are dangerous and, you know, bubble makers. Not troublemakers, bubble makers. Go ahead and roll an offense test.
All right. 3, 4,
Oh, and
5.
we got some hails. So folks have some extra cat treats now. So what'd you get for your...
I don't think I need it for this.
Well, yeah, because, you know, you're rolling 3 dice. So how'd you do on your 3 dice? You're trying to roll high for cat stuff.
I got 3, 4, 5.
3, 4, 5. That's 3 successes. For what it's worth, there's like a couple dozen of these moths, right? There's a lot of them. You immediately thwack 3 of them out of the air. And as these moths go flying and hit the ground and skid in Mimi's direction, Mimi starts padding over to get ready to lay on them. But before Mimi can actually lay on them, Mimi, you notice that they are slowly disappearing.
Is it like a disappearing that it's the end, like it's a time of day and they're not active type of disappearing, or
No, they're
like
fading
straight up
from existence.
they're fading. The timeline, they're fading. And she just starts rolling around in distress, trying to catch them. No, stay.
Unfortunately, they cannot respond. But as Mimi is trying to like collect them and they're slowly fading out of existence, this is when Effie has her realization. Would you like to do something with that knowledge or say something about it or do something else? Yeah.
I think she sort of stops mid-crouch and is like, sort of sits up really alertly and is like, oh my goodness, the collar, I know what it is. And she'll sort of divulge the information to Twiggy and Mimi.
I was muted, but I made a at the same time as Ava.
It's a collective.
Good question.
Since Mimi is a pretty smart cat with the library stuff, I will let Ava. I'll let you roll a librarian check if you would like. It will not relate to either your specialty or your spell, but you do have at least one cat tree if you wanted to.
Sure, we'll use it. We'll use a cat tree.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah, true. 2 2s.
I mean, that's good. You needed to roll low.
That's her.
So
Yeah.
that's exactly what you wanted. So that's 2 successes. Mimi is going to realize as she is attempting to collect these moths that these are chrono moths. These are tiny little insects that don't exist in normal time. They can only be summoned periodically, and it's often by random chance and usually involving some kind of strange planar magic. They don't often appear because they were summoned. It's usually some kind of like chaotic event that happens that brings them into existence. And now that you see them fading out of existence, you recognize them as chronomoths, and their presence can be very, very bad if they are not tended to quickly.
Oh no, they're chronomoths. They're not busy eating their children, so they're messing with the dying continuum. I'm sure it's not the Cronus with a K, but oh well.
No, it's CHR.
I just wanted to make the joke. Oh, that explains it. We should probably look into this collar more. Do we have to find the collar and like give it back to the cat it belongs to?
Well, if we can find one of the cats, maybe we can ask if they know what's going on. Have we taken... Twiggy, did you get all of the chronomoths?
Twiggy stopped as, you guys were making these declarations. Does Twiggy immediately go back to thwacking chronomoths now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, no one said to not do it, but also no one said to do it. So I'm going to just keep going with what I've got going on.
Yeah, you had paused, but now that Effie says something, it feels like that was, giving permission, or at least not rescinding permission. And so Twiggy just goes right back into thwacking moths. And you see Twiggy like leaping through the room as if they were chasing little floating bubbles. And everywhere Twiggy goes, a chronomoth, very shortly thereafter, fades from existence after getting thwacked. Do Effie or Mimi, either of you, help in this thwacking process, or is this a Twiggy show?
I don't bap or thwack, so it's a Twiggy show.
I think Effie is not nearly as accomplished at this as Twiggy is, but will help because she is ready to get her own tail back, and this will make a step in the right direction.
Okay. So between Twiggy, with some aid from Effie, and Mimi kind of observing in the background, maybe lamenting each time a chronomoss gets thwacked into the ground. Between all of that, you're able to get rid of this collection of a couple dozen chronomoss. And as soon as the last chronomoss fades from existence, you can see that the space around you, which just for storytelling purposes we'll say has a window, all of it seems to go back to normal in this specific space. But you notice that through a doorway at the far end of the room that is open, you do still see sunlight drifting through.
It's gonna take a while if we have to do this room by room. I'm gonna get tired. I'm gonna need a nap at some point.
You've done a lot of thwacking today, so
Thank you.
yeah, I'm impressed. Do we know where to find these cats, or someone with a scroll who is writing in reverse? Unwriting?
Well, with the scroll, I suspect it may be in the section of the library where either A, the practice homework is stored for proper removal, or B, someone left their homework in one of the study rooms. So I think we can check one of those two for the scrolls, and then for the collar,
That sounds
I think it's
good
safe to
me.
say that Twiggy and Mimi have never met any cats that are part of the TOM. Has Effie ever met one?
I don't think she realized it at the time. But I think she has a vague memory now of like, oh, I had a strange interaction. This must have been one of them.
Right? And so because of that, none of you know how to even track down one of these special cats that are part of the TOM. One of these special marshals, as it were.
Let's go to the study areas and see if we can find the scrolls. And while we're there, we can workshop how to find the Toms.
That sounds as good as an idea to me as any. Let's do it.
So you immediately duck out through one of the cat tracks in search of one of the many study rooms. As you leave that room, where the sunlight had been kind of pouring through the open window, you hear crash and a yowl come from behind, or come from that direction behind you now.
Well, never mind. Let's go check that out.
Yes.
You immediately
Let's go.
turn and go back into the room, and as you look in the direction of that doorway where sunlight had been moments before, you now see that the door is mostly closed, not entirely, and it is dark.
Well, what the heck? Now I'm just confused all over the place.
Yes.
I think I should go look. I want to slink toward the door and just peek through it.
As you peek through it, the room looks as it should. You can tell me what actually this room is that you're looking into, but it looks exactly as it should at this time of night, with no students in it or anything like that. What is that room?
I think it's just a lecture hall.
Yeah. It's an open lecture hall. No students present. No lights on. Maybe the window sitting there is half, the curtain of it is half drawn closed, and you see a normal evening light coming through the window.
Can I look at the moon? Is it still last night's moon?
No. Through that window, we'll say that you can see that it is not last night.
Does it look like this night's moon? The moon that's supposed to be?
Smart enough cat, I think you probably would be able to put that together.
Well, it seems like time has corrected itself here. So perhaps we're making progress.
Well,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I didn't see anything. It was just an empty lecture hall, as usual.
Maybe it's a Tom fixing everything to be like finalized again, and then they disappeared back. So if we go find a scroll, maybe we'll find one of them. If we just wait, maybe. I don't know.
It's worth a try.
All right. Find a scroll.
You head off in search of one of the study halls where you know scrolls to commonly be written. And as you...
Can I do something on the way?
Sure.
Knowing that we don't really have a good lead on the Toms, I think Effie wants to do a cat version of the Twilight bark from 101 Dalmatians.
No!
And just like start yelling that that they need a Tom.
I love that. That's definitely a yelling check. And I'm going to say, because you have already referenced that you know about the Toms, or because we've already kind of established that tidbit of lore, that this will be a librarian check and not a cat stuff check for
Great.
you. And I'll let you make an argument, if you can, on whether or not control applies, but it is also worth pointing out that I do believe you have 2 cat treats.
Yes, I think I have one. But I will use a cat treat.
Oh, you have 1, yeah. Twiggy has 2.
All right, I got 2 successes.
Okay. And I'm assuming neither of them was a fancy cat.
Correct.
Okay. With your 2 successes, you are yowling this call, hoping against hope to summon a Tom. And in that moment, as you are doing this, you guys are kind of traipsing through the cat, what were they called? Cat tracks? As you are traipsing through the cat tracks, you are announcing in hopes that you can get a Tom to answer. No answer comes. However, as you stop, you realize that there is a tiny twinkling noise coming from around your neck.
I look down.
You have to kind of really get your chin back in order to see it. But you see the hint of a TOM collar.
It was you all along.
How could you not tell us?
I didn't
I
know.
feel betrayed.
I haven't done too much research, but maybe I just was chosen. Oh, this is such a great honor. I haven't practiced my speech, or anything. Thank you so much for this honor. I don't know what to do with it. So let's continue to go in search of the scroll. I suppose. Thank you. This is the greatest honor of my life.
Wow, that was such a short speech. We didn't have to cue the orchestra music to play.
Listen, I want my tail fixed, so I'm in a hurry.
Okay, that's fair.
As you leave the other end of this particular cat track, you find yourselves in the rafters, kind of off to the side, but above the main library hall. And in that main library hall, you see a collection of dozens of students. It still has that strange daylight effect, but now that you guys have all interacted with the chronomoths, you can actually see the distortions in time, that this is not normal, that this doesn't look normal. It's not an illusion. This is literally time playing weird upon itself and overlapping in ways that it should not. It's as if someone took the strand of string that is time and is starting to tie knots in it. And as you can perceive this now, you're able to notice that in the rafters at the very, very top of this main hall, which is where the main crystalline glass windows in the ceiling arise, at the very top of that, you see another collection of chronomoths, and there are two cats up there. One, a tuxedo cat, and the other, a gray sphinx. And they seem to be battling with one another as this swarm of chronomoths is twisting around them.
It's not Gustav and Emerald tied, are they? I'm gonna go fight them.
Well, it seems like we do need to intervene.
All right. I can look for the scroll. You guys can intervene. Tackling both things at once.
Twiggy, why don't you, unless you'd prefer to talk to the other cats, you're so good at thwacking. I think if you wanted to take care of these chronomoths, I know that we don't want to do it room by room, but there are these here, and I can perhaps intervene with the cats and see what their spat is about.
Okay, sounds good to me. I'll thwack. And then if we need to thwack them, you just let me know.
Perfect.
Teamwork.
So the lot of you head in that direction. It takes a moment as you have to kind of like traverse back and forth up one side of the library to get up to that very, very highest of places, in and amongst the rafters. And as you reach up into that area, there are probably 100 or more chronomoths flitting about this space. Go ahead and roll for me a thwacking test. But this is not one to take out a specific moth. It's just kind of to see how well you fare against this variety of moths.
Okay, so I can use thwacking and offense?
Yes. I'm assuming that you are attempting to be offensive against these moths.
Yeah.
You're not holding back in any way.
No, and I will use one of my 2 cat treats.
Oh, going for
So
the
I'll be
4
rolling
dice.
4.
Nice.
I do not want to lose. And like, yeah. And this is cat behavior,
It's cat stuff, so you want to roll high.
All right. Oh, I think I did great. I got a 4, 5, a 6, and a 2. So I'm a fancy cat.
So 4 successes and a fancy cat. I'm going to let you narrate this then. You can't take out all of the mods, Kay. So please use that as a slight constraint upon your creative moment here. But what does how does Twiggy go about this intense display of thwacking prowess against these chronomoths?
So I think that for this display of thwacking, I'm going to be using some of my magic and very kind of crouching tiger, hidden dragon. I start like walking on air, and then I start stomping on the moths, and as I continue along, and yeah, it's very air dancing. I'm just slacking things. They're fun.
I love that. And what would you like to ask for your fancy cat question?
I want to ask, are these either of these cats that are having a spat? I like it, a cat fight. Are they intimidating at all? Are they scary? Do we get bad vibes? Are they going in for a kill? You know, like, what's the
overall vibes of the cat spat? Is that basically what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay. The vibes that you get are that the tuxedo cat is the one that's actually on the offensive, and the Sphinx cat is on the defensive, and the Sphinx cat is a little bit overpowered at the moment, and the tuxedo cat is using some very, very dark magic in this foray, and the Sphinx cat is basically barely able to keep them at bay.
Okay. I will use my fighting in air, and I'll use some interpretive dance to get across that the tuxedo cat is using dark magics. But I will try to get across without like drawing attention to us. We'll try to, get that message across to Effie. And I don't know how far away Precious Mimi has gotten, but if she's there too, I'll try to stage whisper or something. But
Mimi is with everyone at the moment.
Oh,
right?
She hasn't split off yet? Okay.
Yeah. And so, yes, Twiggy is able to pass on to Effie and Mimi this new information about the dark magic and the Sphinx and the tuxedo cats. What would Effie and Mimi like to do?
Do they have the proper permit for dark magic?
Oh, certainly. They're being unsafe with their wielding of the dark magic.
I think...
I'll remind you in this moment that you are magical cats. You can attempt to do something magical.
I think it's gonna be defensive magic, but I think Mimi's gonna get. I think she wants to do the sit maneuver on the one casting dark magic, and essentially create like a force field of, hey, no magic here. Stop that right now. You don't have the proper permits for this.
So we're going to call this basically a countering of spells, a counter magic.
Counter spell.
Yeah, to what
sitting.
to what the tuxedo cat is attempting to do. So go ahead and do a magic test. For you in this case, because you have phrased it in the way that you have, I feel like it is you attempting to exert the authority of the library, and the way that it restricts magic. So I'll let you do a librarian check. But that's only going to be 2 dice for you. I don't think purring is going to work for you here.
Yeah, that's fine. I rolled 2 5s.
Amazing. Mimi is an absolute fancy cat. Unfortunately, you don't get multiple fancy cat questions.
Yeah, I know.
You just get the
funny.
one. But you absolutely are able to, and I'm going to let you kind of describe this, in this moment where you are containing this tuxedo cat and their use of the dark magic. Bear in mind that I don't want you to physically contact them because consent and all of that sort of thing. How is this happening as Mimi, with some measure of difficulty because it's powerful magic? How has Mimi basically controlled, or how in this moment does she have control of the chaotic dark magic that this tuxedo cat is wielding?
I think because we're in the area where papers have been left by the wayside, she puffs up, and in a moment of frustration with the rules being broken and proper protocols not being met, she starts doing like that low, like growling meow that cats do that's kind of indecipherable, as scrolls and papers start floating through the air and just start sticking onto this tuxedo cat and just start just collecting and colliding into them, and constricting them in place. And then there's just the booming voice in the rafters, proper protocols.
Love it. That is exactly what happens. And as this tuxedo cat is still using their dark magic, you are containing them through this paper and this ominous yelling voice trying to exert the authority of the library itself. What is your fancy cat question?
Where's the scroll that had the writing on it?
So it is not a specific scroll that you are looking for. You get to kind of explain how Mimi comes to realize this, but there's an aspect of time that is often overlooked, and that is the recording of history, the recording of events, documenting them, writing them, is what keeps time stable. It's what allows people like the Marshalls, the Toms, to always ensure that time comes back to the way it was. And so this effort is an attempt to undo the writing of the history. And so you're not looking for a specific scroll. You actually need to document for time, for history, all of the events of the day that should have happened so that they cannot be undone. Mimi solves the puzzle of how to fix the current problem.
I think it is as we were originally thinking. It was maybe a student maybe writing a theory on time. Or maybe they were trying to do a spell where it halts a process for a small object. But I think what ended up happening is, when it comes to magic, you have to be specific. And this student made a mistake, and there was a one word that was written instead of another. And I think the word was erase. And so time considered that and said, erase, rewind, reverse, in a way that's all encompassing a similar thing. And so time started to go backwards, erasing the present and the future. So with that, as the booming voice happens and the papers continue to pile on top of the tuxedo cat, Mimi just has a moment of cat staring off into space and time, and just like the awareness hits her once, like the thing that happens at once every like 3 months. She's like, oh, we have to rewrite it. We have to rewrite it. protocol. And then she starts to kind of run to try to write down the events of the day, trying to find scroll and like the quill to start rewriting everything.
Okay. So you now have to recite a journal, basically, of Mimi's events for the day. And technically speaking, all of you have to do this. So keep that in mind. But what are the important moments of Mimi's day that have to be journaled so that history can be preserved?
Her day started with waking up, and there was a bird sitting at the window where she was sleeping. It was a letter from her person. She wasn't able to visit this month. Something came up, but she wanted to remind Mimi how much she loved her and hoped that she was learning, and she can't wait to hear what she has learned. Mimi says to herself, I'll make sure to write a letter as I'm going to bed today. I have a busy day, I can't be lazy right now. She depends on me. So she'll tuck the letter aside, she'll herald for the bird to come back in the morning, and then she goes to her day. She spends most of the day watching the books, protecting them to make sure the proper person comes to pick them up. She goes through that most of the day, a nap here and there, but no one can move her even if she naps. And then she goes to the break room. She has her catnip wine. She sees Effie having her fancy feast and sees Twiggy going to town on some churros. It's terrifying, but also props to them for doing so much with that. It's iconic. And then noticing how time was shifting and changing, and them going on a quest to fix it until it leads back to right now as she's writing the events.
Awesome. And so what does Effie do as Mimi has temporarily slowed down this wielder of dark magic and made this realization that time has not been solidified and must be accounted for in order to undo the damage that has been done? What does Effie do?
I think Effie backs up the Sphinx cat and lends as much of her magic as she can to the Sphinx cat, and then hears Mimi say that it has to be recorded, and so she also goes to record the events of her day. And she wakes up, and she's always there to greet the first incomers to the library. She likes to be there to make sure that things are done properly, and particularly she greets Paige and gets a little bit of she knows that Paige will brush her, and so she gets a few strokes of brushing so that she looks particularly fluffed for the day as she goes to see the new cats. And she takes those two kittens that she had seen herself escorting around, teaching them some of the nuances of the stacks and the way that the books are organized. She checks in on some of the classes that are taking place and corrects a few students. She sort of hops from desk to desk and corrects a few of the students' work. And as much as she likes to pretend that she's strict, she actually really cares about the students and wants to help them do well. So she takes a lot of pride in that work. And then she sees Twiggy and the mess of fairies and sort of slinks away, not wanting to do that thwacking work. It's not, it's a little beneath her because she wants to keep her fur clean. And she just sort of does those things on repeat. She's got a couple of cycles as waves of people come in during the various hours of the day, and then heads in for her fancy feast and sees Mimi and sees Twiggy come in and continues to document as Mimi did, and stops and brushes away a little tear when she recounts looking down and seeing the tom collar around her neck.
And Kay, I am extremely curious what a journal entry from Twiggy looks like.
Yeah. So I think,
reminding you, Twiggy has a 2 for their magical number and is not very astute.
So, they stop thwacking the moths, and they get down to writing. Dear Derry, and it starts very, very, very much like that, where it's just like, chased moths, slept in sunbeams, chased fairies. And then it starts getting very feelings based. So like, I went and I saw my friends and I felt really good about that. We were having a lot of fun. I was eating the churros. And then I got very scared and confused. And then it recounts like the yarn tale, like that really like made Twiggy sad, and they were really sad that Effie was feeling really sad about it, and then and really recounts the triumphs in that kind of way, and comes all the way up to now and be like, and then we fixed the time, and Effie's now a Tom, and Mimi is so wise, and I'm really happy, and I'm happy they're my friends, and we get to do maybe not all of this tomorrow, but some of it. The end.
And as you finish that, and you guys all three kind of look at each other, and are holding up your scrolls with your journal entries of the day, you guys look up and you can see that the magic that Mimi had enacted to contain the tuxedo cat is slowly starting to fade, get broken through. The pages are starting to get sundered and shredded and all of that. And the Sphinx cat looks at all of you as you're holding up your journal entries, and they nod in recognition of what you have done, and you can see very clearly that they have their own tom collar around them, around their neck, and they immediately start weaving a spell, and the scrolls from your paws float up and are woven into this spell. And as they finish the spell, just as Mimi's warding spell breaks to pieces, the Sphinx finishes their spell, and time is solidified once again. And as time is solidified once again, you can see cracks start to form in the space around you. All of the moths start getting sucked into those cracks. Some of them just fade from existence immediately. Others get funneled through as a kind of surreal wind. Not a wind that moves your fur, but a wind that moves your perceptions and it fills the space around you. And slowly, you start to see the space around you become what it should be. Become what is from the mirror. Become real once again. And as that is happening, you see the tuxedo cat like claws embedded in a table or something, getting drug across the surface of it, as they too are getting sucked into one of the cracks. And as you see the claw marks kind of dug into the table, and they reach the end, and with one last yowling gasp, their claws come loose and they are sucked into the final crack of the room. Everything goes silent for all of you. You look up and you see the Sphinx standing there, kind of nodding at all of you, slowly disappearing and also fading from existence. Then you see the claw marks on the table. They are not fading from existence. What would you all do in these moments, as you seem to have, at least for now, fixed the glitch in time?
I think I deserve a nap. Wait, your tail!
Oh no, the tail's still transmutated.
Oh, no.
That's going to be something that will have to be fixed with other magic. That had nothing to do with the glitch.
Oh, that's sad.
Well,
I'm taking a nap though.
it's growing on me a little bit, I suppose.
Maybe Paige can help you.
Evie's gonna reach up and she's gonna take her Grand Champion ribbon off of her chest, and she's just gonna hold it in her paws and like kind of whisper to it for a second. And when she opens her paws, there are now 2 of them. I think that you've earned these more than I have. And she'll just put Grand Champion ribbons on both Twiggy and Mimi's chests. You're both champions to me.
Who needs a hug? Waddle, 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 hug.
Does Mimi's
your purring
purring
feels nice again.
Yeah.
What does Twiggy do?
I'm very excited. I think Twiggy not like chews on it a little bit, but is very pleased with herself. Also wanting a nap. So if we're gonna go get your tail fixed now, well, let's go get your tail fixed now. Otherwise, I want to sleep too.
It can wait.
Oh, thank goodness, I'm so tired.
And so,
Okay, let's go find a moonbeam.
as you all go in search of moonbeams, most often, by the way, the moonbeams do have nice, convenient pillows for them. As you all go off in search of the moonbeams and the pillows, feeling confident that you have saved Catamore Library from yet another strange happenstance that always seems to threaten its very existence, you find your peaceful rest for the evening, and eventually maybe dream a little bit about what a different time might happen. And that, my friends, is where we conclude our fun little adventure tonight. Thank you so much, Ava, Deb, and Kay, for coming with me on this adventure. I love getting to play Library Cats. It's so much fun. I hope you all enjoyed it, and thank you, everybody that was watching tonight. It was a whole hell of a lot of fun.